As Americans grieve the senseless loss of life in Buffalo, New York, and Laguna Woods, California, those shootings, Americans on the left think tougher gun laws will help prevent more evil acts in the future. But New York already has a tough gun law, the New York SAFE Act. The law bans assault weapons and open carry. It requires gun registration, licensing, background checks, and allows for red flag opportunities. The law didn't prevent the alleged Buffalo shooter from carrying out mass murder. Those who intend to do evil always seem to do evil despite restrictive laws. Radio host conservative commentator Eric Erickson recently wrote that the Buffalo killer, quote, fell under the spell of others who filled his head with twisted truths and lies. Erickson believes the country suffers from a spiritual problem, not a political or partisan one. He writes, where God is not, evil is. God is not with us. The American nation, its politicians, and its people have pushed him out of their lives, and evil creeps into the void they've all created. Erickson is right. Godlessness and evil have overtaken our society, only because we've allowed it to happen. It all started in 1962, when atheist Madalyn Murray O'Hair was allowed to push prayer out of public classrooms. That's when America said we no longer want God in our schools. Then in 1973, the U.S. Supreme Court made another ruling that allowed the taking of innocent life. More than 60 million babies have perished in America since the Roe v. Wade decision. Yes, folks, we rejected God and embraced a culture of death. And today, psychopaths uncaringly open fire on innocents as if they're trying to claim victory in some video game fantasy world. And then we wonder why it's happening. Unfortunately and tragically, we'll likely see more mass shootings, not because we lack tough gun laws, but because we lack decency and morality. So what else can we do to reverse this madness? We can start by embracing a biblical worldview and sharing that view with our children. Yes, get back to God. We recently told you about a George Barna study that found while 67% of American parents with preteens identify as Christian, only 2% actually possess a biblical worldview. You think maybe that's why evil is spreading? How can we teach children godliness, righteousness, and decency when we don't believe it or practice it ourselves? Barna says you can't give something you don't have. Focus on the Family's Dr. Danny Huerta believes churches and parents can play a big role in helping kids learn godly truths.
Rather than trying to control a child or trying to take ownership of a child's behaviors, it's about influence, and that begins with you.
Yes, it begins with us. And although a majority of Americans may not hold a biblical worldview, pollster George Barna remains optimistic that the culture can be turned around.
The reality is we have a remnant of about 15 million adults across the country who possess a biblical worldview. That's a huge remnant. So God could certainly use them to turn around this culture.
Yes, the creator of this world, not the government, can easily turn it around. All we need to do is sincerely turn our hearts to God and ask for help. And let's remember the words of Proverbs 10:25. When the storm is swept by, the wicked are gone, but the righteous stand firm forever. Well, that's it today from the Global Lane. Be sure to follow us on the CBN News and NRB channels, social media, and our broadcast affiliates. And until next time, be blessed.